What's up, Silver Stackers? This is Silver Slayer, and welcome to your daily silver stacking video. Thank you for tuning in. Let's have a conversation about the price of silver, shall we? I have compiled a couple different articles, some charts, some chart analysis, commodities booming, but they've busted, and what comes next, and even the gold and silver long-term resistance levels, and are there any breakouts ahead? As you can see, you are in for a great video today. Make sure you like the video and leave a comment. I actually give 1 ounce of silver to one of my random subscribers that leaves a comment that I like on one of my videos. Plus, I'm doing a giveaway right now. The entry video is open and I'm picking 2 winners. So lots of silver given away to a lot of different stackers, and may the luckiest stacker win. Now, as we're talking about these price dips, I also want to share something right now in front of you. On this screen, you're looking at literally the best silver deal online. Bullion Max is offering a starter kit, a silver starter kit. What that means is they have this deal where you can get 5 ounces of silver at below employee pricing. And it comes with a Type 2 Eagle, a 2022 Maple, 2022 Philharmonic, a Buffalo, and a 1 ounce round. And you can't get a better deal than this, especially since Type 2 Eagles and Maples have extremely high premiums. So you're getting these coins for even lower than you would find generic silver rounds. Best deal online. Go to bullionmax.com/silverslayer. Links in the description. And take advantage of that. It's a very limited time deal, and it's only 1 per household, so make sure you jump on that, because the last time I saw a starter kit was years ago from JM Bullion. I haven't seen a starter kit for years, but every time they come out, I always tell everyone, go jump on that, lower your dollar per ounce average. Now, $25.37 silver. There is a dip right now. This is the 1 week chart, as you can see, and if you even want to look at the 3-month chart, it gives a better perspective, right? We could look at the 1 week chart and see this huge dip, or we could step back a little bit and see that it still is gradually going up. You see what people do? They focus right here and only in that moment, and then they look and it's going down. But if you step backwards, you can see it gradually is still going up. That's why I always say you gotta look at the bigger picture, folks. Let's look at the 6-month chart. Do you see the bigger picture now? People are looking just right here and saying, oh, silver's down, what should I do? But if you would step back, you would see it is gradually going upwards, and it actually needs to go up for it to go back down. If it just went up, 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 it would crash, crash, crash. But it's going up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little more, down a little more, up a little more, down a little more. That has to happen. If not, the price would never build stability. It has to stabilize at these prices, and that's why it's called a correction. It's correct. It's correcting. So anyways, let's look at the price analysis. It's set for the 4th successive decline under $25, and that's the pre-Fed, the FOMC meeting. A lot happening. There's a lot happening, actually. We recorded the Silver Stacking podcast, the, I think, 8th episode, and TJ went into this thing called the witching cycle or something, where it's like every so often all of the contracts end on the same day, and there's a lot of volatility. Plus, there's a lot happening with the FOMC, so there's a lot of speculation out there, fear, uncertainty, doubt, and that's obviously going to affect pricing, along with oil, which, you know, barrel, I think it was $95 last time I checked, but there is a very strong correlation with silver pricing and the oil price. So as we see it going upwards, some say it could even hit $300. What would that do to the price of silver? Push it up. Now, we would see a lot of things happening in the short to medium term, a lot of volatility, I mean. So don't pay attention to, don't give in to the news, don't give in to the fear. Even if it goes upwards, don't give in to that. Just buy it and hold it, because it's the long term that matters. That's all that matters. The only reason right now you would be worried about the pricing is if you're thinking about selling, and there's no reason you should sell anyways, or if you're thinking about buying. But right now, obviously $25 is a steal, and if you don't agree, then get out of silver right now, because that means you have no idea why or what makes it so valuable. So anyways, let's jump into this. Silver price is trading the red for the 4th successive session at risk appetite, which recovers as yields rise, and The silver to dollar ratio, or the bears will likely be eyeing a test for the 50 and 200 daily moving average near $24 on a hawkish Fed surprise. So weaker than expected U.S. retail sales figures for February failed to give the precious metals complex a lift on Wednesday, with spot silver prices trading in the red for a fourth straight session. Risk appetite has been recovering on Wednesday, with global equities firmly on the on the front foot amid more constructive tone of the situation, of the rhetoric, right? So, anyways, that's gonna make commodity prices ease. Silver prices failed an earlier attempt to push above $25 per ounce, and that has slipped back into the $24.80 region. And actually, right now, it did seem to push pretty high up. It's $25.39 now, I guess, depending on which chart you look at, spot or ask, and it shows about 0.3% lower on the trading session despite the weaker dollar, which is interesting because you know that the dollar has a negative correlation with silver prices. When the dollar index is down, gold and silver is up, and vice versa. So as there's a weaker dollar, silver's still down, which is interesting, but that I guess also should show how many other factors are affecting the price of silver at this moment in time. There has been a lot of focus on the steep rise in U.S. bond yields in recent days, which has coincided with the sharp recent pullback in silver from its recent highs in the $26. So, silver continues to trade above its weekly lows printed on Tuesday, and looks like the main market focus will be on the bank's new economic forecast and the dot plot, as well as Federal Chairman Jerome Powell's tone in the press conference. Investors are keen to measure the degree of which Powell will be willing to continue tightening policy in order to control inflation, even in the face of slowing growth as a result of recent geopolitical events. So, given the past remarks, analysts are leaning towards Powell choosing to control inflation at the expense of growth rather than towards choosing to support the growth at the expense of inflation, meaning hawkish risk. Now, you could see how that would easily affect the price of silver, especially with the speculators that go off of news as if it's already happened before it even happens, right? They will say words like expect, or we hope, or we aim for, and that doesn't mean it's the case, right? They said 7 rate hikes in 2022 and 4 more the next year, but they said expect that many. Will that many rate hikes happen? Probably not. But regardless, though, they're investing off of a guess, and that could be so dangerous, because then when that actually happens and we see how many rate hikes, then the markets correct back to the actual price. It's not a false figure almost, which could be so dangerous. And that's also why so many people lose money, is because they're investing with their heart, not their head, and assuming. And a lot of people say when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, if you get it. So, well, that was quite a wake-up call. I'd love to be able to say I called the top last week, and I didn't, and we would note that it was a very real possibility. This is the kind of excess that marks a top we observed in more besides, and we are talking commodities this week. Again, energy, metals, a lot, and what can I say? The metals have sold off dramatically, starting with gold. We got fear to the double top at $2,070 an ounce. That was followed by a so-called island reversal pattern that's bearish, and if you blah 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 blah. So far, gold held around another historic price point, $1,920, the old 2011 high. It's also when silver was $50, but the momentum is downwards, and I rather fear the $1,800 now. And so far, okay, this is a good point right here. So I'm trying to just highlight some main points. So don't try to make sense of it. Gold should be going higher. War, inflation, all the rest of it, but how often do we observe an enormous gulf between what gold should be doing and what it actually is? HODL on. That is so important. That is so important. They don't make sense. I don't think the pricing will ever make sense. If we could strip away all of what we know right now, let's say we're back 50 years and someone told us about today's time. They told us what was happening, and they asked us what the price of silver is. Let's say let's not know because we're from the past. we would all say easily it's triple digits for sure, given the circumstances, but it's not. It doesn't make sense. It should be a lot higher. Silver should be hundreds of dollars, right? I actually remember covering a video where it literally should be like $250 right now if you're looking at it from pre what was it something. It went along the lines of the gold to silver ratio and the dollar strength and something about 1980. I actually just covered that recently, but silver should be, regardless, silver should be like $250 at least. But it's not, and there is price suppression. We know that silver prices are rigged. The prices are manipulated to some degree. I mean, they're spoofing, placing false buy orders on exchanges, canceling the order before it goes through, which is highly illegal now, but it goes a lot deeper than that, much deeper than that. Plus, I mean, right now, nothing makes sense. There's so much up in the air. Speculation is becoming a bigger factor in precious metals nowadays, but I do see a day and age, and this is coming soon, where regardless of what the dollar index is doing, silver is going to do what it does. Regardless of what gold's doing, silver is going to do what it does. Regardless of stock market volatility, silver is going to do what it does because you, and even people trying to rig the price, it's going to do what it does because you cannot try to cut out supply and demand from something that has such a strong influence on the price of silver, right? Low supply, high demand shoots the price up. Massive silver shortage ahead for the next decade. How much silver we're going to be needed already exceeded 1.2 billion ounces, and we're looking at probably 4 or 5 billion by the next, 6 or 7 years. But we can't already. We're barely scratching the surface, meeting 1.2 billion ounces, and actually not really. If you look at the numbers, U.S. Mint sold 5 million Eagles the first month of January, and that's just you and I investing. We're not talking about solar panels, electric vehicles, 5G towers. I mean, you can't. You can't. There's no way that silver is going to be able to meet the demand. And when that happens and people realize that silver can't keep up, that's when the natural price will show. So it doesn't make sense, but it will soon. So anyways, sorry that I just kind of went off in that little tangent. This is kind of just talking about gold and commodities, but this is important. Oil's plunged too. Like I was just talking, there's a strong correlation between oil pricing and silver. Actually, I just was watching something and Trump was talking about how it went from $30 a barrel to 95, and in why this is actually such a bad situation, and how, not to go into the politics because I don't care if you're left, right, front, center, mid, down, up, sideways. I don't care. But the point is that if oil keeps going higher, that's going to drastically affect the price of silver. Now, how high could it go? We don't know. But this article, let's see what they mention. So turning to oil next, Brent flirted with $140 a barrel before flipping on a dime and falling back into doubled figures, $98. The narrative is that it's now emerging that we need to stop relying on, and how shall I put it, nations with governments that are for natural resources, which is like the Prime Minister Boris Johnson was articulating on such thoughts in the Telegraph this week. President Biden seems to be able to talk about his high gas prices, natural gas, or stuff as petrol. One wonders, is his anti-domestic development policies also doing about turn? So I'm trying to just see what they're looking about oil. So on the other hand, also growing demand for windfall tax and energy companies, especially in the U.S., blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. So even with this correction, I suggest you remain long energy and mining companies is sensible jurisdiction. And to take the opportunity, you'll have to, over the next few weeks, accumulate some positions to get along if you are not ready. So I'm not trying to give you this type of information to say get in oil. I'm just trying to find as many things to put the pieces together to see what affects the price of silver, because then we can invest off of that, right? Investors make strategic decisions based off information. So we take that information and strategize because we know it affects the price of silver, right? Gamblers throw money, hope it sticks, with the odds highly against them. Investors make the strategic decisions based off of all the information we collect and try to adjust those odds into our favor. Investing is not gambling. There's a big difference. It's called a silver stacking strategy for a reason, folks. So is there any breakouts ahead? So meanwhile, silver has to deal with the resistance of 25 or 28 to $30, and then its all-time high of $50, right? And they talk about long-term resistance levels in gold and silver, and gold's in a cleaner position technically, and that has resistance around $2,100, and that's the all-time high gold has ever been, basically. And because of this setup, silver may not outperform gold when gold breaks above that. That could occur later, and it does. It always follows suit, but it could take some time. Silver is lagging beyond all commodities, but like I use the volcano metaphor, gold's a volcano. It already erupted. It broke past its all-time high, past 2,000. Silver's volcano still hasn't erupted. It's building magma, and the more magma it builds, the more explosive it's going to be. But it's going to take some time. The stars have to align, and not all of those pieces are into the puzzle yet, but they are coming very shortly. Like I said, with the shortage, I think that's going to be the thing that catapults it. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Make sure that you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you enter the giveaway for sure. And also let me know if you think this coin is a cop or a drop. Go over to bullionmax.com/silverslayer if you want to get the best silver deal online, literally. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.